everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Magical Jill, and today we are talking about Sailor Moon and the fact that there is a new story coming out for that.
So this is actually a big deal because we don't get new Sailor Moon stories very often, and we've talked about this in the past. Sailor Moon is something that, while I am glad remains accessible, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I always talk about how media preservation is important. If you want to do new printing, stuff like that, that's great. But with Naoko and, the original creator, Naoko Takeuchi, with her attitude around the series kind of being, it's done, but I'm going to keep making a boatload of money.
So Naoko Takeuchi actually had some bad experiences within the anime and manga industry, which I do think contributed to us not getting as many new stories as I wish we could have.
Yeah, and I think one thing with that is there's a lot of misinformation around it. Like, there's a lot of people who say, oh, she hated the showrunners of the anime and they didn't get along and this and that. A lot of that is hearsay. Mm-hmm. What we do know, though, is that she was not treated very well in the manga industry particularly, especially like after Sailor Moon was done. They were losing her scripts for new stories, for, different things she wanted to make. Mm-hmm. And just kind of treating her poorly. And it was during a time where we did see that too, with a lot of manga creators being a little bit bullied into doing things. I mean, even with legends like Akira Toriyama, his editors and the people at the head of the company and stuff, they would push him in directions even when he wanted to end his stories and be like, no, you have to do more. Someone like Naoko, one thing we know about her is that she is stubborn. And you can say that in a good way or a bad way, but she didn't like being pushed around by people. And I think, like what you said, that led to Sailor Moon kind of being done. It never really got this renaissance where it came back with entirely new stories or anything like that. Really, all it got was Crystal, and the movies. And
many of us were left craving more after the Super Live came out.
Yes, which was the most recent live show at the time of recording this. And so that's kind of why I think this is a big deal, because I think Sailor Moon fans will take new stories where we can get them. And there's one coming back that everyone thought was gone.
But before we get into it, I did want to ask you guys a question of the day. What kind of news stories would you be interested in seeing in the Sailor Moon universe? Would you want to see different continuities? Would you want to see different eras of Sailor Moon, such as her from the Silver Millennium, or Neo Queen, or, just kind of what ideas did you have in mind that you would like to see for the future of the Sailor Moon franchise?
I'd be interested in that too, because there's so many different continuities now from live shows, and there's a ton of different ones of those, to Crystal, to the manga that's a little bit different than Crystal in the movies, to the 90s. There's a lot you could explore. And with this story, people thought it was gone mainly because of what happened with COVID. There was actually a sprawling story going on for a bit.
So 6 years later, Sailor Moon fans are going to finally have the opportunity to check out one of the franchise's newest stories, and this is coming from an article that we found on CBR. Basically, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Shining Theater is finally making a surprise comeback this many years after it was shut down from COVID.
Which is nice, because a lot of things that got shut down from COVID, regardless of what your beliefs are for or against anything, they never got the chance to come back. A lot of businesses...
They were gone forever.
Businesses, stories, series, a lot of things were permanently ruined, or had their endings rushed, like one of my favorite shows of all time, Supernatural, got kind of the shaft from COVID. It really affected every country and a lot of things, like to the point where I didn't even really know what this was. I started getting interested in the live show aspect of Sailor Moon after seeing the Super Live and being so blown away, which we made some videos about that here too.
I had seen things about this before, especially the food, because this was a cafe in the Juban district of Tokyo, and it was actually in the Osa-P building, like the one from the first episode of the show and first chapter of the manga.
That was the jewelry shop, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was actually in that building, that real-life building in the Juban district, and it was a cafe that sold Sailor Moon themed food. It had Sailor Moon live shows throughout the day, every day, and more on the weekends. And then the girls who were dressed up in the beautiful outfits would run around and say hi to all of the fans. And it was really amazing and magical.
Well, that sounds great. Why don't you pack your bag? I think I can learn to say hello, goodbye, and what a pretty girl by the time we get there. Are you ready to go?
The sad thing is, it is no longer in the exact Osa-P building
No,
anymore.
my dream of meeting real-life Sailor Jupiter. What happened?
So it is now in Shinagawa, Tokyo. It also has a 450-person capacity now, which I think might have been bigger than what the original cafe had, because now it is located in a Prince Hotel.
Whoa.
Which, it is going to be a little bit less of an intimate experience. However, that is still much more of an intimate experience than the Super Live, because I would say there was probably like 1,000 people at the show I went to.
Yeah, there was more.
Probably
I
more
definitely think so. We went and saw it at the Orpheum Theater, but it was pretty much packed.
There was very few seats left.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you didn't really get to meet the girls at all. It was a 2,600 capacity, apparently, according to Google, which is small for some theaters, too. And so, you know, you're looking at something like that, and you're especially looking at things are safer in Japan, at least in public. You know, you're not going to have someone pull a firearm on you or something. And so, unfortunately, when it comes to these experiences in different countries, a lot of the times it's kind of like you show up, you see it, it's awesome, they leave, you leave, everybody goes home. It's not like this.
And something that's really interesting about this live show is it's extremely under wraps. Even the original one from 6 years ago, there's not really very many videos or summaries online detailing what it's about, actually. I mean, for all we know, it could just be completely different from all the other iterations of Sailor Moon we've ever seen.
Well, we also don't know if it's going to come back differently.
And we did hear that it has been kind of like foreignized in a way to make it so there's less dialogue, especially less Japanese dialogue, and there will be English subtitles so that foreigners can have a better experience, which I think is great. I did not hear whether or not they're bringing back the food. I imagine since it's at a hotel, they will be equipped with a kitchen and will be able to do the Sailor Moon food. There was mixed reviews on Reddit of the original 6 years ago, whether the food was good or if it was overpriced. Some people got the size of like a really small McDonald's drink for like $10. It was $10 to American money. I don't know what that translates to in Japanese yen.
But Japanese people are pretty small.
Yes.
You know, to them, a small is probably what to us a medium is.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they don't have a weight problem in their country. And also, the only people who eat a lot are anime characters. They're like Goku. Not real people.
But with the fact that like so much Sailor Moon merch is honestly, in my opinion, pretty expensive, it would make sense to me that if you went all the way to Japan to this cafe, the food's gonna be higher expense because it's Sailor Moon themed.
Well, the Juban district in general, at least in the 90s, I don't know about now, was known for being a ritzier district. You know, that was like, Usagi's family was doing good. They were doing well for themselves financially.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at that too and where it was in real life, inflation, all that stuff, I guarantee it wasn't super cheap. I do wonder how that will affect things like food and things like that, but I think it's interesting because this is a piece of trivia I didn't know. There have been 40 musicals released like up till now, with more than 800 performances taking place around the world involving Sailor Moon. So this is just another iteration of that. But they're all unique. You know, the casts make them unique with their mannerisms, or the scriptwriters make them unique by going a different direction.
This one is especially unique because 6 years ago they did have special holidays that they put on different performances for.
That's cool.
Such as the girls' birthdays. They had a special celebration for Ami-chan's birthday and all the rest of the girls. They weren't able to celebrate Rei because as soon as it started to get to her birthday, COVID happened.
Well, that's not fair.
So,
they should open it with Rei's birthday.
True. So Rei never got her birthday, which is a shame. But then they also did other holidays too, which were really fun. And I think that that's something we haven't really gotten to see at all, especially from a live performance. You know, we've all seen, like, in the 90s show, they had holiday episodes, and maybe sometimes they had a birthday episode here and there.
And they were pretty rare, all of those.
True. But getting to see that in real life, you know, as a musical type of format, I think would be really exciting and really fun. And who knows, maybe they'll have, like, some promotional Rei-themed cake for her birthday, or a promotional Usagi-themed cake for her birthday, you know? I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think in general, to me, one of the things that's so special about this is not only like the opportunity to go and see this kind of story in real life, And we know they're actors, we know it's fantasy, but it feels more real in that way, right? You're in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But also the fact that you never know where these stories lead. First off, for me going into the Super Live, I thought, well, this could lead to another story if it's so successful, and that was the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was blown away by how good it was on its own merits.
And it's definitely different from both the manga and both the anime versions, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you've got, like, the same general story beats, but the way you get there is very different and really interesting and so fun. So I'm really excited to see if this musical is going to follow similar story beats, or if it's going to be completely different in general.
And I also hope that with the success of the Super Live, that one thing we can see is more reprints of the Blu-rays for these, because we have seen in the past some, and they are unfortunately select ones, of these musicals have been released on DVD, Blu-ray, put online. Super Live was put online for a limited time. I hope that with the success of these live shows, eventually, they kind of start seeing, okay, well, this is making a lot of money, and as the world comes together to celebrate characters like this, not that it has to become westernized, but that you can realize, oh, Westerners have opinions and love these characters and things too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of these people can't travel, but they could buy a Blu-ray for $70.
True.
That kind of thing, with Crunchyroll, all these stores online now, it's the best time probably ever in our lives that you can spread these stories, make them accessible, and still then for the people who travel to Japan or who live there and are able to go in real life, that's a totally different experience too, right?
This whole thing makes me really want to go to Japan and see it, and if you want to as well, tickets are going to be on sale in early 2026. We do not have an exact date yet, but I did know that it's just going to be in early 2026. You'll be able to buy those tickets. I imagine they'll sell out fast, so it'll probably be a big, frenzy to get them.
Bit of a rush.
Yes, but I hope that if any of you go, you tell me in the comments about how it was, because I think that is super exciting. I really want to know what the food is like. I really want soggy cakes.
Let's settle down on the food here. Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting, and like I said, I hope that not only is it good on its own merits, but could lead to future things too. The reason Sailor Moon is so merchandised now is because the merchandise keeps doing good. So it leads to more, right?
Mm-hmm.
As these stories keep doing good, they're going to keep leading to more. Whether that's eventually another animation or it's more live stories or whatever. Sometimes those inspirations come from things that you don't expect, like Akira Toriyama being dragged back into his passion for Dragon Ball because the Dragon Ball Evolution live action movie sucked so bad and ruined the reputation of the entire series. You know what I mean? Good or bad, these things can always lead to more and lead to quality, and that's kind of what I hope to see out of it.
I think one thing that happened here with this is the fact that the Super Live did so well. I think that is actually why this revival is happening, and I am so excited and happy for that, because it makes me really sad when things, especially Sailor Moon things, just go away forever. I mean, that's what we thought was going to happen with Sailor Moon Crystal off of Netflix, that a lot of the show is just going to be gone forever unless you bought it or found it on a different streaming platform.
Or you sailed the high seas.
That's true. And then they actually did put it back on Netflix, which is exciting.
For now.
True. But basically what I'm saying is I don't like when things are just lost media absolutely forever. So I'm really glad that they're bringing this back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's really successful. I hope I get to go to it someday.
We're going to have better jobs.
That's true. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comments if you're planning on going or if you have gone in the past and what it was like.
Another thing we'd like to know from you is what kind of topics you'd like us to cover on this channel. So far we've been kind of hitting a lot of anime like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Pokemon. There's other stuff we want to cover, but even out of those topics, or Sailor Moon even in particular, are there things you want us to talk about that have happened or stories or whatever? We're interested in that. And actually, I think we plan to bring the Full Metal Alchemist topic back some too. We have a video we're planning for that in the nearish future.
Also, I have a really awesome shop called CosmoBunny.shop, and I'm going to have my husband tell you about it. Yay!
So, one-of-a-kind items for one-of-a-kind people like you. What we do is we take all kinds of books that have been damaged, and we don't really believe in the concept of them just being tossed in landfills, thrown away, and then just polluting the earth. It's kind of gross and sad. So one thing we like to do is we take these things, we save pieces of this art and turn it into new art as a piece of a transformative resin art piece for your home. Now you might say, okay, well, I don't need art pieces. Well, you know what you might need? Coasters. You might need keychains. Those are fun little things.
And light switch covers.
Bag chains. You know, these keychains, I use them more for putting them on backpacks and stuff, too.
I do, too. I
Almost
put them
like
on my backpacks, yeah.
Yeah, so all kinds of stuff over there that can liven up your home, spruce up your life with interests that you might have of things that aren't really even being made.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take that, make a transformative piece for you, and we have a discount code as well.
Use code SAILOR for 10% off of your purchase, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye!